Alright, so couldn't just sit inside and not come out and mess with it. I'm trying to take the fuel pressure regulator off. Like I said, it's in a little awkward spot, so hopefully the first bolt came out, so hopefully the second one on the other side, hopefully there's enough clearance to get the bolt out all the way. If not, I really don't feel like taking off the water pump and everything, but if I have to, but hopefully there's enough clearance, and if there is, I'll probably end up getting a little shorter bolt for when I reinstall them. But I'm gonna get it off, and even just moving it, you can see fuel squirting out of it, so I don't know if there's too much pressure in there before or if it's just a bad seal. But I'm gonna take it off, and when I reinstall it, it's definitely coming out. I'm gonna put it forward a little bit more, just so I don't have this problem right here. It takes forever to get these bolts out, but we'll get these off and then I'll cut you guys back on and let you know what I find with this fuel pressure regulator. Alright, so got the fuel regulator off, just took the lines with it, made it a lot easier. I'll start by try to get all the fuel out of there as much as I can. There might be a little bit left in there, so keep it away from the cars for now. But I'll probably start, because it's leaking from that up there. I believe that's where you put the normal gauge for it. So I'm just going to take that off, make sure that's tightened up. I'll probably take this apart also, see if anything looks weird inside of there. And then when I mount it back on there, I'll probably turn that mount around just so it's sitting farther out. So it'll sit up here instead of farther back. So if I do need to change some stuff with it, it'll be easier to get to. So let me stop talking and I'll tear this apart. I don't know what I'm doing with it, so I either tear it apart and put it back together, or tear it apart and have to get a new one. So let me take this apart and I'll cut you guys back on and let you know what I find. Alright, so did get it back on for the most part. I threw some sealant along that fitting there, that block off, so threw some sealant on that, so hopefully that helps seal it up. I did take this front cover off and check that. It's like a gasket in there, so I checked that. It seemed like it was all intact, so I think it's getting too much pressure. And then this might have been loose up here also, so went ahead and tightened that up, threw the sealant on there. Everything's good. I actually like it better sitting a little bit forward. I think I put it back because I wasn't sure which way everything was going to route and everything, but there'd be plenty of clearance once the belt and everything's on, so nothing would be affected by that. That would be there, so plenty of room there. So I actually like that a little bit better. Makes it a lot easier to get to. And like I said, I had to loosen up the return line a little bit, just give me a little bit more play in there. So luckily I didn't cut it too short. I think I have a little bit, yeah, I have a little bit play to the fuel tank also, in case I do need to pull it all up and get a little bit more slack out of it. But the only thing, I'll have to order an extension piece from here to here. That's a little dark, I'm trying. So for that AN fitting, it's just not quite long enough, so probably about a 1 or 2 inch extension should be perfect to get those lined up. That extension, I have one on the other side, so it's this piece right in here. So that's about what, maybe an inch, inch and a half when it's all said and done. So just need to get one of those for this side, and everything will be buttoned back up. throw the alternator back on, and we should be good to go. Yeah, we'll see. Still don't know why it didn't fire up though, even with the fuel leak. I'm glad it didn't, so it didn't catch on fire or anything, but at the same time, it should have fired right up. But I'll keep messing with it a little bit, double check the tune and everything. I know I unhooked the battery, hooked it back up, so just make sure everything's still loaded on there as it should be. Still waiting on my the intake piping to come back in. Have that mat sensor. So once the intake piping gets back, the mat sensor will be plugged into that, and then still waiting on the map sensor also. So I can plug in. There's a slot on the back of the intake that I'll just go into. So get all that stuff buttoned up. And I think I still need well, I had a vacuum line coming off of here, took it off, so I need to get another one and route it to one of the vacuum ports on the intake. So yeah, this is angled up a little bit more. I think it's probably better angled up than sitting straight, because eventually intake pipe will be there. So yeah, I think that's a good spot for it. But yeah, I just couldn't come out, and I couldn't sit inside and do nothing while I knew that I was messed up. So just came out to double check it. Let me order that extension, and then hopefully I'll probably cut up this pipe here for the crossover. I'll cut that and see how much of a spacing I need for it, and probably get some, I think that might be, what was that, 2-inch, 2.5 inch crossover. So I'll get some exhaust piping and make some pie cuts on it, and try to get everything roughed in to where it should be, and then I'll take it to my buddy so he can make it look a lot better than my welds do. But yeah, I just had to get to it, had to mess with it a little bit, couldn't just leave it there. It's gonna be nice though when just able to come out anytime and just crank it right up. So yeah, and then I've been thinking about the brake lines. Might have to do these pretty soon, so I think what I'm gonna do is use what's already here. I'll take them out of the proportioning valve, cut them down, and then rebend the ends of it so they line up here. So that's what I'm thinking. If not, I'll just order new brake lines and bend it to shape. If I do that, it's not gonna have the coils in there, so it pretty much run straight to the proportioning valve. Still need to touch up the paint on the frame after welding on the grounds for that. But what else do I need? It's a lot, but it's not a lot, but it's a lot. So yeah. But yeah, I think that's it for the night. That view is gone now, but get some nice sunsets out here. But yeah, so eventually, I don't know, can you guys tell the different setting on the camera or not? I think I put it as at a wider view so it picks up a little bit more. Before I was running it narrow, so yeah, I don't think I was able to get the Monte in one shot. But yeah, this started because I started that, and that's running right. So now this one doesn't want to act up. Alright, this one wants to act up, so eventually I'll get it all buttoned up. Still waiting on this fitting here. I'll put a 90 here so the line's not shooting straight up. I'll probably route it to the inside. Need to order this extension and a throttle cable. I'm debating, so I'm trying to do it on a budget, but at the same time not trying to scamp out. I could go to the junkyard and find one off of I think a Savannah van. I think they're longer, or a pickup. I know you have to cut the ends of it to shorten the cable a little bit, but the fitting I believe is the same, or I could order aftermarket one, which would probably be about $100. So debating on those two options about the throttle cable. That bracket, need to tighten that up, and like I said, just small stuff here and there, but it's just looking good. But yeah, that's enough of me rambling. Just had to come out and take a look at the regulator. So hopefully that fixes the problem that's sealing in there. Tighten it up, and hopefully that fixes it from leaking. Give time for the little bit of fuel that did spill out to evaporate. Hopefully it doesn't start bubbling up the paint or anything, even though you probably won't be able to see it. But that's pretty much it. Alright, so I got a few parts in. Got this extension for the fuel lines, threw the throttle cable up, that'll be its on video. All the tensioner stuff's still loose, so I'm not going to start it. Just going to make sure there's fuel pressure and no leaks. So here we go. I'm not hearing the fuel pump, so that's probably why. Let me connect that and go from there. Here we go. One last attempt before I take off for work. Nope, still leaking. So it's still leaking out the top, so probably just gonna have to find another fuel pressure regulator. A little disappointing, but it happens. Yeah, I don't know why, but like I said, it's leaking out the top here. So let me wipe that up and I have to take off for work.